Hi, folks. This is Mosquito Paul, Don Paul Weather Plus, talking about mosquitoes, just as I wrote about them in the Buffalo News Online edition. I have a current article with some details of what can be and what can't be done about mosquitoes, what works and what doesn't work, and it's not a bit of it, work based on my research. It's expert research from the land grant colleges like my alma mater, Rutgers, and nearby Cornell, etc. We have an especially fabulous environment for mosquitoes this year, as if you didn't already know, unless you're hermetically sealed. We have a moist environment with the short periods of drying followed by showery periods. It's not that total rainfall amounts have been absolutely enormous as in other parts of the country, but they are above average, and we have ideal breeding conditions. Anywhere there is standing water, that is heaven on earth for mosquito larvae. And mosquitoes have multi-generational egg-laying capabilities. There are some female mosquitoes that lay 300 eggs at a time. So the best thing we can do on our properties is to get rid of as much standing water as is possible. Cans and containers, if they have to be out there, they're decorative. You can drill holes in the bottom of them. The sides won't do any good, just so that they're consistently draining. And even holes in trees can present nice moist breeding areas for mosquitoes. Now, where there is standing water that you cannot dump, and by the way, what you're seeing in this footage here is a fast-moving stream. That is not a breeding ground for mosquitoes. Fast-moving streams and well-used and chlorinated pools are typically not mosquito breeding grounds. Although if you have a pool and you go away for a couple of weeks on vacation and the water stays stagnant, it can become a breeding ground. But for the standing water, there are products which are perfectly safe called larvicides. They are not insecticides. They are a product produced by bacteria that have been around for years and years and years. And this is one of the most common formulations. It looks like I'm endorsing a brand, but I actually saw mosquito dunks on the Texas A&M entomology website. It is called, in short, BT, because the bacteria has a long name. And you'll find this in virtually any hardware store or the big box stores. You put it in the standing water, and especially if it's a small area of standing water, you're not going to be able to do a large pond with these. These last for up to 30 days. They are only active against the larva. So if you have pets, you don't have to worry about them. Even if they were to lick the water, it is totally non-toxic to everything except the larva. So what else can work? Well, work is the key word. It is very hard work to get rid of all the moisture sources you may have on your property. Gutters, if they're very moist and have a lot of muddy, leafy residue in them, can be breeding grounds, and we all know how hard it is to get to them. Or if you hire somebody, it's not inexpensive, but if you're having huge problems with mosquitoes, they can be major breeding grounds. But there are other products you can buy that I'm not certain are working as well as they're supposed to. I bought a sprayer which is approved by the EPA. Now, when towns and counties do treatment, whether by air or by truck, they are licensed, trained, certified applicators. So there are certain insecticides that you can't use on your home property. The EPA knew that certain insecticides presented more environmental hazards when misused. So there were laws passed years ago that the applicators in large areas really need the training to protect themselves and the environment as much as possible. The insecticides we can buy, the sprays in the can, I'm not going to mention the brands, are approved by the EPA, but even when they're registered and approved with the EPA, it still is on us to read the label, because they're always going to be presenting a hazard to honeybees. Same goes with foggers, and some may present hazards to your beloved pets. So you really need to take that extra time to read the label, small as that print may be. And at my age, let me tell you, everything you see on this screen is small. So what I'm telling you here is, again, information which came to me from expert entomologists at land-grant colleges, including Cornell, Rutgers, Texas A&M, and they're pretty uniform in what they recommend. And here's something they don't: bug zappers. A lot of us have been at barbecues and say, I got to get me one of those. They sound fantastic. Listen to that bzzz, bzzz. This particular one has got a brand name on it, but it goes for all of them. Rutgers research and even EPA research showed that while they do kill insects, they draw insects to your area that wouldn't otherwise get there. It's like a moth to a flame. And when actual samplings were done by Dr. Wayne Kranz at the Rutgers Agricultural Experiment Station in Jersey, they did the samplings and found less than 1% of the killed insects, and there were plenty of killed insects, less than 1% were mosquitoes. Some beneficial insects were in the mix. They just don't reduce the mosquito population in any significant way. Another bit of sad news: bats are overrated. We all know the Chautauqua Institute has bats, and they do eat a lot of mosquitoes, but their actual ability to lower mosquito populations over a larger area is much more limited than first thought. Some of the earlier studies, now under peer review, which is part of the scientific method, show, well, fine if you have them, but they're not going to really do the trick in a year like this. If you happen to be near some bats, maybe you'll just feel better psychologically. As I said, they do eat a lot of mosquitoes, but not enough to make a big dent. So you can get more information in my Buffalo News article, and you also can get more online, of course, from the land-grant colleges, including Cornell. Rutgers had a lot of information that's in my article on what doesn't work, what is a waste of your money. Now, the final topic: insect repellents, which are very important to use not only for mosquitoes, which up to this point have been a nuisance. No reports of transmissible diseases from the mosquitoes yet. No West Nile reported around here yet, or encephalitis. But also in protecting you from ticks. The tick population is growing each year and spreading, and they carry not only Lyme disease, which you've all heard of, which can be very serious if not treated promptly, but they also are spreading some other diseases, and 7 new tropical diseases, which are up here too, have been discovered since 2004, and some of that is tied to climate change. The insect repellent that works best and is safe to use is DEET. It's under quite a few brand names. You've seen OFF. And consumer reports in the land-grant colleges are recommending that you apply DEET every 4 to 6 hours on exposed skin, and you buy it with 25 to 30% DEET concentration. I saw one product in a supermarket the other day. You know which one that is if you know me. Right next to the 25%, same brand name, and it said family insect repellent, 7%. Well, 7% won't do you much good. It makes no sense to get 7% when the many, many studies show that you really need 25 to 30%. It's safe to use. Of course, you don't want to spray it in your eyes or inhale a big cloud of it, but it's not an insecticide. It doesn't kill the bugs. It keeps them away from you. And again, it's really important with ticks increasing as they are. So those are some of the basics, and again, you can get more information for yourself online from Cornell and Rutgers and Penn State. Any land-grant college has lots of information, and in my article, there's an actual link to the New Jersey Agricultural Experiment Station on what products are a waste of your money. That's from Rutgers, and that's in the article too. Enjoy your day. I'm going to put some DEET on when I go out to take my bike ride. They're not going to get me those little... Oh, I'm sorry. And again, please subscribe to this channel.